it was announced that Representative David Scott passed away. And this kind of follows an article that came out on April 6th about how people are saying that Congress is too old and that black Democrats, especially those who are the elders of the CBC, said that they weren't leaving. Now, before I go into kind of the expected conversation on this, I do want to say black representatives are important, right? People may not believe and participate in the system. Some people don't believe that America will ever change. And I think that it's completely nonsensical, even if you hold that belief, to allow the crazies on the other side to represent you. Like, it's absolutely crazy, right? If you believe that, like, anything should happen in America, there should be black representatives there to ask the questions that no one else will. And so that's why I think, like, when RFK went up in front of Representative Sewell, right, Terry Sewell of Alabama, and then Summer Lee of Pennsylvania, those two black women brought up the black female mortality rates during childbirth. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did not have real answers. And I think some people won't care, but exposing the things that people do not care about enough is the job of a representative. And it's great to see that they will bring this up and it will be televised and people will see, oh, so they don't actually care about the specific ways in which black people are suffering. Like, if you want to solve any problem in this country for black people need to be spoken about. And so we should be in the halls of power forever speaking about our issues, regardless if you feel that America will change its inherent nature or not. So Representative David Scott was there for, I think, at least 12 years, right? And so he was in the middle of his term before running again. And so you need to celebrate that. He was there. He gained prominent position. He was there to be a voice to black issues, right? He was on the agricultural committee. He was a senior Democrat. Right. But now when we pull it back, right, when we get to the article that came out about elder black Democrats not leaving, I said, like, they spoke about it very selfishly. Right. Even though the CBC may be considered like a inheritor or a successor of, like, the civil rights movement of trying to build power within the American system. Right. These people believe that they're successors of that struggle. But the whole point is that one generation passes the struggle to the next. And it was obvious from the article that they don't feel as though they need to actually allow people to inherit that struggle or to inherit the power to affect any kind of change within the struggle. They just want younger people to look to them for every solution. When at some point, these younger people are like 50 years old. They're not young anymore. You need to give them a chance to build the power to fight. And this is what I was, like, afraid of is going to just keep happening, right? Representative David Scott was so unhealthy that he didn't vote in the presidential election. He was kicked out of the he was ousted from the agricultural committee because he was too unreliable as a representative, right? But that didn't stop him from filing to rerun again, right? And so, I mean, it speaks to, like, the ways in which people think about political representation, like how the representatives think about it and how the people think about it, right? Where Representative David Scott was a name, right? So he could just put his name out there and they'll vote for him, right? It goes into, like, what do people vote for? Like, you have to vote some of these old people out, right? You have to continue to put your name up there. You can think about, even if you don't agree with it, Abdul Saeed, who's running for senator in Michigan. He ran for governor in 2018. The man's been consistently running, and he has really good numbers. Now, I'm not going to make a comment on that, but it's just the idea, like, you're not going to succeed at first. But if we want to get rid of the gerontocracy, which is literally killing this country, people need to put their names out there, regardless of how it seems, right? Now, I just need to say that, right? That these people are not going to willingly give up power. They have shown that they are more willing to just die and basically leave the legacy of their seat up to governors who may not share their political opinion. Like, and I'm talking about the fact that because David Scott has died, Governor Brian Kemp, even though there is a 10-day deadline for him to set a special election for Representative Scott's seat, in which the person that I think wins that seat will have less than 6 months, and then there will be another election. And that frustrates me because that's chaotic. What do you mean you're going to have an election for someone that's there for 6 months and then have another election when you could have just had this set? And so it speaks to the point that I see kind of errors on both sides, right? I think that a lot of these elder statesmen, right, they're running because they know that there's really no one else that people will vote for. There's no names that stick, I think, in the running for these particular positions long enough to be a threat to them, right? And at the same time, younger people got to start running against these people. Like regardless of who they are, you just gotta run against them. Regardless if you lose or not, you can't get demoralized because these people they are willing to say that they are going to die in office before they pass over any power at all. So I will say this: I'm trying to be like measured. I'm not trying to be like particularly rude, but like the death of David Scott is an indictment of the ways in which these elder statesmen are thinking about political power in the United States because you can't be that selfish, right? And I get it, right? Civil rights movement was like black people are individuals. They can do whatever they want, but there is a black struggle. And regardless of how you think about it, you're a part of it. And the fact that they're like, I don't care about the black struggle. I don't care about the next generation, Gen X, the ones that everyone forgets. Forget about Gen X getting any political experience unless we literally die in office. And the other point is that he is the fifth Democrat to I think die in office. Now there was one case where I think a man was like a cancer survivor. He lasted 61 days. There was Representative Gavria, I think, in Arizona, and then there was Jared Connolly, and then I'm forgetting the other names. There, I think one was a actual freak accident, but it's this problem of like elder representatives literally just dying in office. And I'm not going to make any arguments about the broader Democratic Party yet. That's a lie. It ruins the numbers. Like the whole point, the whole thing that people are complaining about is the fact that Republicans don't have to actually talk to Democrats to actually get anything changed in this country. And if you want to do any progressive legislation, you need the numbers. And having these like weird situations that you cannot predict, right? Where, hey, there's an unhealthy Democrat that's been in office for years and he's too unhealthy to have senior important positions, but he's just going to keep staying there regardless of what it does to our, I'll say policy math, right? It's whatever. I find that to be absolutely crazy. And so, I'll just say Jim Clyburn's talking about how he's still strong. I don't doubt that, but that shouldn't be the argument. You never know. And maybe that's rude to say, but you're 85. Give that power to someone else. Let them build up the experience. But instead, they'd rather die in office, enter a state of confusion for everyone else, and then we have to pick up the pieces and like almost technically restart. So I'm done with this though, but yeah.